Hello. In this chapter, we are going to create our metahuman characters, Alex and Charlie, who are going to be in our short film. Alex is kind of an older gentleman, and Charlie is kind of a younger female. We're going to create the characters metahumans, as well as create the clothes and accessories for them. Once we have their outfits created, we will texture both the characters and the outfits. For the characters, we will do like some dirt, maybe a little blood, stuff like that. And for the clothes, we'll texture them, make them a little dirty as well, and kind of just distress everything for the scene. Let's jump in. I'm going to right click, come down to Metahuman and Metahuman Creator. Let's call this Alex. I'm going to just pick one of the preset characters like Bruce here, and I'm just going to edit this a little bit. Only going to change a few things here. This is not a tutorial on incredible metahuman customization. All right, I kind of like this. Let's make it a little darker here. The mustache, let's make this a little darker. I actually like this haircut. Double click these and we'll create our rig. All right, after that, let's come and download our 4K textures. All right, last step, come down to assemble. Let's make our next character of Charlie. Come down to metahuman character, Charlie. I'm gonna start with the preset Jelena, 100. I'm gonna drop this to 160. Smaller shoulders, smaller hips, definitely smaller hips. Okay. Make the chin smaller. All right, not too bad. Let's change the hair a little bit. All right, we'll stick with this one. That feels pretty good. All right, let's create this rig. Let's go ahead and download the 4K textures and let's assemble and export. All right, last thing I'm gonna do is come up here to Metahuman and export our combined skeletal mesh. We'll export that. We'll open Alex back real quick. And I'm going to export Alex's real quick. So now we have both of these combined skeletal meshes. All right, that was it. That was creating the base metahuman characters. Let's go ahead and create our costumes for our metahuman characters in Marvelous Designer. All right, so let's just come up here and I'm going to right click on our skeletal mesh. Let's come down to Asset Actions and Export. I don't need any of this. I just need the static mesh. So then in Marvelous Designer, we can come up to File, Import, FBX, Auto Create both the fitting suit and the arrangement. I doubt the fitting suit will work, but we can see. There he is, looks great. I'm gonna come up here to fitting suit, make my own here. There we go. Let's go ahead and drape this. Boom. Whoop. Got him. Let's go ahead and save. All right, let's see what we got in our library here. Let's just go for a basic t-shirt. Shirt looks great. Let's hike it up a little bit. Let's come back. So let's take all of this and apply this just to body. Okay, then we can delete that one, delete that one, delete that one. I think we need this t-shirt, and I want to select a jacket. We're going to add this. Don't need the avatar. There's our jacket. I changed the particle distance to 20 just so that when I run the auto fitting, it runs a little smoother. So let's come up here and run this auto fitting. Draped pretty well. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come up here and actually freeze these layers. I'm going to run a quick simulation here. Drop this back down to like 10. Pull this up a little bit. So there's his jacket now, I like it. I'm going to add a project and I'm going to use the pants. I'm going to add the garment, okay. This whole jeans fit. I don't need all that. Just the bottoms. Let's change this to 20 and let's go ahead and redrape these. All right. Now let's come back up here and let's unfreeze these guys. Let's have this guy pull on top here. Come over here and grab our jacket. And I want to show. And also unfreeze. He's got his jacket on. All right, I like this so far. Well, let me import this guy. We'll add this. Okay. There's our backpack. Grab all of this. I want to grab the... All right, so that's okay for now. So that was a pretty rough overview of how it's gonna work. I'm gonna kind of clean this up a little bit, but this is the overview for Alex's clothing with his backpack. So now that we have his jacket, his shirt, his pants, and his backpack modeled in Marvelous Designer, let's go ahead and get those ready to export them to be textured in Substance Painter. So the next step is to prep these for UV painting. So I'm gonna come up here and right click on this and select UV editor, and oh boy, these are all a mess. I'm gonna select these things here first. So let's start simple. Let's start with the t-shirt, and then we can come over here and just pull all of those things over there. Then let's grab the backpack, put all those things up there, grab the pants, grab our jacket. We have so many fabrics also that I'm going to consolidate them. So let's rename this one as straps. What is this one? This seems to be zippers. You are pants inseams, I would say. I'm gonna come down here. So let me grab all of these guys. I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna come up here to pack, and we're going to set this to our selected tile. Now let's grab the pants. Boom. All right, let's select our t-shirt. Come up to padding. Change this to 3. There we go. And let's select our backpack. Come up to padding and change this to 4. Now we have all of our UDIMs. All right, now our clothing set is ready to be textured in Substance Painter. So we will come down here to export, FBX. We do not want our avatar. We do want a single object. We want to weld it and thin. We do want our UV coordinates. 4K is great. Our normal, diffuse, and roughness, please. Let's go ahead and export these. Now that we have exported our outfit for Alex, let's go ahead and create the outfit for our second character, Charlie. All right, now that we've got our skeletal mesh here, I'm going to just create asset, create animation, and current pose. Here it is. We'll say this is the Charlie T pose, and we've got our face mesh and our body mesh here. This is what we want to make sure, right? I'm going to come up here and right click and come down to asset actions, export these selected files. All right, now that we have imported our character of Charlie here, let's go ahead and create a little outfit for her. First things first, I'm going to create a fitting suit. So let's come up here to avatar, avatar editor, fitting suit. All right, let's drape this fitting suit. Save this as Charlie. Drag in these pants real quick. Pants, pretty good. I grab them. I come up here to UV editor. Throw the pants on the UV2 tile. Let's drag this guy up there. Oh, no, I want that. Yep. go. Shirt created. Come over here to UV editor and let's pack the shirt on the UV1 tile, first tile. All right, I think for now that's pretty good. We might give her a jacket. I haven't decided yet. All right, now that we've created our outfits in Marvelous Designer for both of our characters. Lastly, before we jump into Substance Painter to texture our characters and our outfits, we have to export the skins of our characters. So let's do that real quick. All right, so let's go ahead and open up our Metahuman here for Alex. So I'm gonna jump into the face and I'm gonna scroll to the content browser for the skeletal mesh. And let's open up face skin, LOD0, and we're going to navigate to our base texture here. All right, then all we have to do is come into our Alex. We're in our blueprint here for Alex, and let's come up to our body text, our body component here, and we're going to find the skeletal mesh for the body. Let's open that up and let's navigate to our body baked, and let's find this, and we're going to right click on this, asset actions, export. Let's also export that right next to the face textures as well as the normal. Now those are exported, and let's do the same for Charlie. Come to our body here, and I want to export this. Let's export that body and export the normal texture as well as the body texture. Before we jump into Substance Painter, let's set up the normals and base color maps for the skin textures real quick. All we have to do is rename these so that they line up and that Substance Painter can recognize them. So we're going to rename this as Alex BC for base color .1002, because that is the body UDIM that is for Metahumans. So, and then we'll do for this one, we'll do Alex normal .1002, because that is the body. So now let's do the face. So I'm going to rename this as Alex base color .1001, because that is the face. And then we'll grab the face and we'll name that face normal as Alex normal .1001. All right, now that we have our characters and our outfits ready for texturing, let's jump into Substance Painter where we are going to texture our Metahumans. First thing we need to do is import the base colors and normal maps for our Metahumans. Let's go ahead and open up Substance Painter here. And we come to File, New. Let's select our combined mesh. And I'm gonna slide it to 4K, make sure we have our UDIMs. So the first step is we need to grab our 1001 UDIMs for our normal and our base color. And if we grab those and import them, Substance Painter will automatically detect the 1002s. So let's grab those and import them. Set these to textures. You'll see we have our two UDIMs here. To drop these on, I'm going to create a new fill layer. I'm going to turn off the height, rough and metal, and I'm going to drag the base color into there and the normal into there. So I don't want to bake it or else it's going to mess everything up. So it's really touchy how you do this, so just be very careful. If you come anywhere near this UDIM, it's really going to freak out. So I would advise painting on the 3D model. So what I'm gonna do first is, let's give a line of it. And let's see what Dirt Dusty looks like. Okay, I kind of like this a little bit. So let me just try to paint some of this on here. See like how I went on his lips there and it freaked out. All right, I want to try now to add a little blood to him. So we'll name this dirt base. Let's do a little blood on blood splotches. Bloody hands, bloody face. There's one more thing I want to do, and I want to kind of give him like a deep bruise, almost like a purplish red. Yeah, that feels good. Maybe a little darker. I'm gonna come up here and export our textures. Make sure they are 4K. And let's go ahead and export. All right, next, let's go ahead and create a new one. One thing we gotta do is make sure we export the combined skeletal mesh for Charlie also. Let's go ahead to File, New, and let's open up the Charlie combined skeletal mesh here. Select 4K for our textures and make sure our your UVs are selected and select OK. All right, let's import our textures for Charlie. So let's come here and do a little renaming first. So we're gonna name this Charlie.bc.1001 and we'll name this one. We'll rename this one Charlie.normal.1001. We'll rename this one Charlie.bc.1002, Charlie.normal.1002. All right, now let's grab the 1001 UDIMs and import them. Select them as textures and import them. All right, now that they are imported, let's go ahead and create a new fill layer. I'm going to unselect the height, roughness, and metal. And I'm going to drag the base color in and the normal. I kind of just want to do the same. I'm going to kind of just do a base layer of dirt. And then I don't think she's going to be bruised as much or bloody. So let's just go ahead and create a new layer. So for the dirt on Charlie, I'm going to try a little different method. I'm going to create the paint layer, and then I'm going to add a black mask, and then I'm going to add a generator on that. And let's select the dirt. So now if I come back to the paint, okay, we got some paint. We got some dirt going on. Let's come up here and export our textures. So now that we have textured our metahuman characters, let's go ahead and texture their outfits. Let's jump in. So let's go ahead and open up Alex's outfit. So I'm going to go to New, and I'm going to select Alex's outfit here. Let's make sure it's set to 4K, and we have our UV tiles. Here is the outfit, and we're going to do this pretty quick. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to come up here to bake. Let's change this to 4K. And it's got all of these textures, all of these layers it's going to go through. So let's just let this run. I'm just gonna leave all of this at default. Let's return to painting, and I'm gonna start with the jacket first. So let's come down here to that jacket layer, And I'm just going to select smart layer here, fabric canvas crease. Let's see what that looks like. All right, so now that we got the jacket here, let me turn off all these other ones. So for the jacket, I'm gonna just add a little bit of dirt to this guy. So I'm gonna create a new layer here, and let's just see what dirt splashes looks like. Let's change our color here. Let's go for like a dirtier kind of thing. I might even up this a little bit. I want to add a little blood splatters because who knows what happens. So to do that, I'm going to create a new fill layer and a new paint layer. I'm going to look for like spots. Okay, that's good. Let's change the color a little bit. Some dry blood. Pretty gritty. Let's do the backpack next, I guess. I like burlap. Burlap sounds cool. Okay, everything's burlap now. Oh, there. Okay. Let's change the burlap to a little bit darker of a base color. And let's come up and let's add a little bit of dirt to this guy. Some dirt splashes here. Change this to dirt brown, dirtier brown. Actually, I don't really like the color of that because it already looks kind of brownish. So maybe we'll go with like a dark blue or something. Like a red bag. Bag is dirty. All right, let's turn off these guys. Just the shirt. So fabric linen warm. And then we'll just add a little dirt to it. Let's change our color. And let's come in here, change this color. Let's do the pants next. Let's just do the default jeans here, and we're just gonna customize them a little bit. I love this little pattern they put on them. It's really funny. So we're just gonna delete that. Pretty dirty. All right, and just like that, we have our Alex outfit. I also need to export the textures. Let's export those. So let's come up here and go to File, New, and let's select our Charlie outfit that we created. We want this in 4K. I gave her a jacket also. So let's come over here and bake this in 4K. Let's start with the t-shirt. And I kind of liked what we had last time with an increase. So let's try this again, but I'm just gonna give it a different color. Maybe more like a, for the pants, let's also do those blue jeans, but we're gonna make hers black. Let's come down here, and then let's come down to the base color, and I wanna change it to like a dark gray, probably. Let's go to our jacket texture. And now for this jacket, I kind of almost want it to be like, okay, and then I want to change the color to like a, yeah, do a little more muted. Buttons, we're just gonna make those black. Let's give the t-shirt a little wear. I'm going to create a new fill layer, and then let's give it some dirt spots. Change our color, and then let's do the same for our pants. Let's create a new fill layer. I like surface rust, that's good. Dirt colored again. Let's come up to File, Export Textures. Make sure they are 4K, and let's export those. Now that we have textured our outfits and our metahumans, it's time to bring those new textures back into Unreal Engine and apply them to our metahumans. So let's jump into Unreal Engine. Let's jump back into Unreal Engine here. And the first thing we're gonna do is to import our Unreal Engine, our metahuman textures. Let's import those 4 new textures. And now let's jump into our blueprint for Charlie here. And I'm going to open up her face texture. And I'm going to drag in that new face texture. And I'm going to drag in that new normal. So now if we zoom in here, you can see she has the dirt applied to her face. All right, let's do the rest for the body. So let's come back to Charlie, go to our body component, open that up, open up our body baked here. Let's come to our content drawer, drag in the new body and normal. You should see the updates kind of around her hands, which, yeah, there we go. So that worked for Charlie. Let's do the same for Alex. So I'm going to come in here and open up the blueprint, come to the body, rename this to Alex, BC face, Alex, BC body, Alex, BC, Alex normal face, Alex normal body. Let's drag these 4 new textures in. Come to our baked body here, and let's grab this one in here. Body normal in here. Got a lot of blood on his hands. And let's do the face. All right, let's import their clothes next. So I'm just going to drag in Charlie's outfit. No animations. Import static, sure, skeletal, no animations, materials, sure. So here is Charlie's outfit. The next step, I'm going to import all of the textures that we created. So the first texture that we made is the jacket. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a new material. We'll call this Charlie Jacket Matte. And then I'm gonna pull in those 3 items for the jacket. And I'm gonna connect the RGB into the base color. I'm gonna connect the normal into the normal. I'm gonna connect the red into the ambient occlusion, green into the roughness, and blue into the metallic. So let's go ahead and apply that. So then if we open up our outfit, I come up here to the fabric. Now that we have that, let's create a material instance. And then if we search for jacket, there it is. So jacket is working. There are the materials on the jacket. And then we'll also actually come up here, make sure that it is double-sided. Stick around while I do the rest of these materials. We'll see that our characters have our outfits with their custom face textures. I'll go through and clean them up, you know, it's not double-sided yet, but I just wanted to show you that that's how you do that. All right, so we have successfully brought in the new character textures, as well as brought in their outfits and textured them, as well as applied the static meshes to the metahuman characters. I'll go through and clean up the rest of it, but this was what I wanted to put on camera. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe and follow along for more film updates as I create this short film project. So if you enjoyed this, please stay tuned and subscribe for more updates as I continue this project in this short film. All right, see you at the next part.